Page 146, Exercise B, and page 147, Exercise C. A guided tour of Uxmal.
Good morning, and welcome to Uxmal. This ancient city was part of the Maya civilization. It's one of the most fascinating and popular Maya historical sites in Mexico, and for good reason. There's a lot to see here. So I hope you all have on comfortable walking shoes today. There are several pyramids and other structures at this site which were all built by the Maya during the late Classic period. That's around AD 600 to 900. So they are not nearly as ancient as the pyramids in Egypt, of course, but they're still pretty old and very special. There is also a ball court on the site where ball games were played. The ball game the Maya played was a very difficult and dangerous sport played with a hard ball made of rubber. I'll tell you more about it when we get there. We'll also see tombs where important people were buried, mostly people from one royal family. I visited a lot of Maya ruins, and personally, I think the ruins at Uxmal are the most beautiful and interesting of all of them. So, you've picked a good place to visit. Maybe you'll agree with me after our tour today. Okay, just to let you know, the guided tour takes about 90 minutes. But after that, you are welcome to stay and explore the site on your own until closing time. Okay, ready? Great, let's get started. The first stop on our tour is this huge pyramid right behind me. It's called the Pyramid of the Magician, and I'm sure you've seen images of this famous pyramid on brochures or in your guidebook. Not only is it the tallest pyramid at Uxmal, it's also a very unusual pyramid because it has rounded sides. And as you know, most pyramids have flat sides, like the pyramids in Egypt. Now, we don't actually know the Maya name for this pyramid, or for any of these structures here at Uxmal, but there is an old story about the pyramid. They say a magician used his powers to build this pyramid in one night, and that's why we call it the Pyramid of the Magician. So, how many of you think the story is true? Anyone? Well, even though we don't know exactly how long it took to build the pyramid, we do know that it was built in different stages, during different time periods. So it definitely wasn't built in one night. In reality, it took around 300 years to build this structure. And like other Maya pyramids, this one started out small. The workers built a bigger structure on top of the first small pyramid, and an even bigger structure on top of that one. Archaeologists have revealed parts of 5 different structures here that make up the pyramid you see today. Does anyone have any questions at this point?
I do have a question. You mentioned archaeologists. When was Uxmal discovered? I mean, in modern times, when was it found?
That's a great question. Of course, in some places, the Maya cities were completely covered over by trees and other plants, and they had to dig to find the buildings underneath. But Uxmal stayed pretty visible over time. People could see the ruins fairly easily. There are drawings from the 1700s and photos from the 1800s, so this has been a popular place to visit for hundreds of years. Okay, I'll give you a minute or two to take photos, and then we'll head over to the ball court and maybe play a ball game. Hey, just kidding.
Could I ask a question?
Absolutely.
Do they still play the Maya ball game here? Like, maybe to show the public what the game was like?
No, sorry, not here at Uxmal. Okay, after we see the ball court, we'll go to the governor's palace. In front of that structure is something very special. It's called the Jaguar Throne. It's very cool. And as you probably know, a jaguar is a wild cat. It's the largest wild cat in the Americas, and you can still find a few wild jaguars in Mexico today. Okay, So the jaguar throne in front of the governor's palace is made from stone, and it looks like a jaguar with two heads. In the middle is a kind of seat, most likely for a royal person like a king to sit in. Now, here we are at the ball court. Okay, so who can tell me about the ball games that were played in this ball court? Anyone?